planning to start with the fourth unit, that is elements of grammar. Let us see how far we can go today. So this is my 21st lecture, and today we are going to study word formation processes and morphophonemics. See, this is the syllabus for unit number 3, and we have finished structure of words, concept of morpheme, allomorphs, then types of morphemes. Today we are going to study morphophonemic changes, phonological and morphological conditioning, and we are studying word building processes. Thus, today I will finish unit number 3. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Wait, someone wants to join. Yeah. So, word formation processes are processes by which we create new words. New words come into being in a language by different ways. So, the first method is coinage, that is, you form a new word. For example, every new writer adds something new to the language. In the 17th century, John Milton added a new word into English. Do you know John Milton?
Yes.
Yes, okay. What is he famous for? Aren't you studying any of his poems in this year?
Yes, he is a poet.
Yes, he's a poet.
He's a
Are you?
metaphysical poet.
Yeah, he's an English poet. Which?
Metaphysical poet.
No, not at all. He's not a metaphysical poet, Sanjay. Aren't you studying his
He has
poem this year?
written. Yes, sir. He has written this one. Uh,
He's known for his work.
yes.
Which work?
Paradise Lost.
Very good. He's known for his epic Paradise Lost. English language did not have an epic, and therefore John Milton decided to write an epic in English, and thus he wrote Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost is the story of the fall of man. Students are still joining. So, in the Paradise Lost, John Milton coined a new word called pandemonium. P-A-N, D-E, pande, M-O-N-I-U-M. Pandemonium is hell. So he created a new word for hell, pandemonium. Thus, Shakespeare also has added several new words to English. So, new writers coin words, and as new instruments, new gadgets are found, people invent new words for such gadgets and for such devices. So we saw coinage, borrowing, then compounding. Compounding is joining two words, or parts of two words are joined together to create an altogether new word. For example, a few years ago, Amol created this word. Do you know Amol? What, what is Amol? Hello.
It's
Amol created the word butterlicious, which is an example of,
it's a dairy. It's a dairy.
yeah, it's a famous
Amul is a
dairy,
dairy.
the biggest dairy in Asia, and Amul is a now big brand. Amul has several milk products. So Amul created the word butterlicious. In an advertisement, Amul said that their butter is butterlicious. Now we know butterlicious is made up of two words, butter and delicious. So in advertisements also, new words could be created, new words are found. So these word formation processes we studied in the previous lecture. I think we stopped at back formation last time. So back formation, a word of one type is reduced to form a word of another type. So television, donate, babysit, etc. Then conversion, the next process of word formation is conversion. The conversion is a change in the function of the word without any reduction. So a noun is changed to a verb, or a verb is changed to a noun sometimes. For example, to spy and a spy, or butter. Noun is used as a verb in some sentences. Don't spy on me. Now, spy could be a noun. You can consider spy as a noun. But if I say don't spy on me, I'm using noun as a verb in the sentence. So sometimes verbs are used as nouns, nouns are used as verbs. So this is a very minor or small process of word formation. Then acronyms. Acronyms are created uh, by uh, by selecting the first letter or the first letters of long words. So acronyms are new words formed from the initial letters of a set of other words. For example, CD, VCR, laser, MAD, ATM. What is the long form of ATM? What is an ATM?
Automatic teller machine.
Very good. Automatic teller machine. But now no one knows the long form of ATM. Everyone knows ATM by these three letters, ATM. Then you have words like AIDS, AIDS. Now, AIDS is a perfect example of acronym, AIDS, because this is a new word, but each letter in the word stands for another word. For example, A stands for acquired, I stands for immuno, disease and syndrome. Acquired immunodisease syndrome. It is the name of a disease, but you take the initial letters of all these words. You take A from acquired, I from immuno, etc. And then you create the word AIDS, AIDS. Similarly, you must have heard the word NATO, NATO. What is NATO? NATO is North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So each word in NATO, NATO stands for a separate word. Similarly, you must have come across UN or UNESCO. UN stands for, tell me, what does UN stand for?
United Nations.
Very good, United Nations. UN stands for United Nations. NATO stands for North Atlantic Treaty Organizations. So in acronyms, you can actually pronounce that word. You can say AIDS, you can say NATO, you can say UNESCO, etc. So new words are formed by selecting initial letters of a set of other words. So this is how acronyms are formed. Then derivations, we have seen this: affixes, prefixes and infixes. Using prefixes, suffixes and infixes, you create different words. For example, regular, irregular, etc. We have seen this. There is no infix in English. Infixes are not used in standard English. We won't go into the detail of infixes. Someone is still joining. No. So then multiple processes, daily, snowball, etc. Now today I'm going to start with this topic called morphophonemic changes. Morphophonemic changes. What are morphophonemic changes? I shall read the slide for you. Morphophonemics can be defined as analysis and classification of the phonological factors which affect the pronunciation of morphemes, or correspondingly the morphological factors which affect the appearance of phonemes. In morphophonemics, we basically study interaction between morphological and phonological processes. So morphophonemics deals with morphological and phonological processes and how they or how these factors affect each other. So in morphophonemics, we study morphology and phonology together. And phonology affects, or morphemes affect the pronunciation, or morpheme affects the phonology. How does it affect? We will see. For example, one very obvious example to morphophonemics could be the use of indefinite articles in English. Now tell me how many articles are in English? How many, or how many types of articles are in English?
Articles are of four types.
Four. Hmm. What are they? Yes.
Four items are a and no article.
And
A and the and no
very
article.
very good. So basically articles are of three types: definite article, indefinite article, and there is one more article which you don't know. Maybe it is zero article. So definite article is, there is only one example of definite article, and that is the. Indefinite article has two examples, a and an, whereas zero article is marked like this. For example, in a sentence like music is the soul of life. Consider the sentence, music is the soul of life. In this sentence, music is the noun, but it should take an article, because every countable noun in English takes article, or every noun takes an article in English. Only proper nouns do not take articles. So ideally, there should be an article before music, but since music, nouns like music don't take an article, therefore you have to write the sentence with this symbol, and then you write the next word, music is the soul of life. But generally zero articles are not written, only linguists know about it. But my concern is definite and indefinite article, especially the indefinite article. The indefinite article in English is realized in two ways, a and an. Now tell me, when do we use a and when do we use an?
For singular nouns, use and for the words which started with vowel.
Yes, very good. If the next, or if the noun begins with a consonant, you write a, and if it begins with a vowel, then you write an. So this is the basic rule. Now this is called as morphophonemic change. That is, you choose the indefinite article depending on the next uh, the next sound in the noun. For example, indefinite article in English has two manifestations, a and an. If a word begins with a consonant sound, then indefinite article is manifested as a. So you say a mango or a cat. While it is manifested as an apple or an idiot if following word starts with a vowel sound. So in morphophonemics, we have to consider the next morpheme. For example, here, this morpheme, apple is a morpheme, right? Now, apple begins with a vowel sound and therefore the indefinite article used is an. In mango, mango is a morpheme. Mango begins with a consonant and therefore another type of indefinite article is used, a. So, a and an mean the same. A and an both are indefinite articles. But for certain nouns we use a and for certain other nouns we use an. The rule depends on, or the rule is based on the beginning of the morpheme. If the morpheme, or if the noun begins with a consonant, then we use a. If the noun begins with a vowel, we use an. This is called as morphophonemic change. That is, the indefinite article or the use of indefinite article is decided by the next morpheme, or the morpheme which is coming after the indefinite article. We have seen this when we studied pluralization. In pluralization also, we consider, or the last plural is realized in different ways or with different sounds. For example, cut, kick, top. All these nouns have plural forms as cuts, kicks, tops. That is, the plural forms end with s sound, whereas the plural forms of dog, rib, and kid end with z sound. हे आपण काय बघितलं, आपण एक टॉपिक शिकलो बघा, ॲलोमॉर्फ्स. त्यावेळी हे सगळं पाहिलेलं आहे. ॲलोमॉर्फ आणि मॉर्फोफोनेमिक चेंजेस ऑलमोस्ट सेम टॉपिक, सिमिलर टॉपिक आहे की sound, how phonology affects due to the presence of a morpheme. की cut's a plural, sorry, cut, cut is a verb. You can add s to it and it becomes cuts. Your top is a noun. You can add s to it and the plural becomes tops. But the plural of dog becomes dogs. So this s and z depends on the preceding sounds. Since the preceding sounds in dogs are dog, g is a voiced sound. Therefore, when you attach s to it to make plural, you pronounce it as dogs. Similarly, rib is pronounced, the plural of rib is pronounced as ribs. Plural of kid is pronounced as kids. Understood? Then judge. Judgeचं plural काय होतं बघा, JUDGES होतं. But judges किंवा wish, wishes, church, churches हा is आहे. चर्च, चर्चेस होतं, विश, विशेस होतं, शू, शूज होतं, किंवा डे, days, pea, peas, etc. So what has happened? Plural, while making plural of a noun, you have two ways. First of all, you add s to the noun and you make plural of the noun, or you can add es morpheme to the noun, to the root word, and you can make plural of the root word. But by adding s morpheme to the nouns, that s is not always pronounced as s. Sometimes it is pronounced as s and sometimes it is pronounced as z. Now tell me when it is pronounced as s. When the preceding sound, जसे की cat, cat, cats होतं. सॉरी, इथं स्पेलिंग चुकलेलं आहे, हे cat पाहिजे, CAT. Wait. So cat, in cat, the word ends with, or the morpheme ends with t sound. T is a voiceless sound. Therefore, when you attach s morpheme to it, that s morpheme is pronounced as s. पण डॉग्स मध्ये तेच s morpheme जरी असलं, DOGS असलं डॉगचं प्लुरल, तरी त्या s चा उच्चार कशावर होतो? त्या s चा उच्चार झ असा होतो. तर this is called as morphophonemic change. The phonetic change has occurred in the morpheme because of the previous morpheme. The previous morpheme, or the last sound in the previous morpheme, has affected the plural morpheme. तसंच जजचंही झालेलं आहे, तसंच शूचंही झालेलं आहे. जज जजेस होतं, जजीस, दॅट इज द लास्ट साऊंड इज. So in English, plural is realized with three sounds: s, z, and is. This is actually a topic in allomorphs. Then next baga. Upon upon careful observation of the data, it is noticed that plural morpheme in English is realized as s, z, and as or is, given different phonological environment of the stem to which plural morpheme gets attached to. Another example is, in English you say the box, but you say the umbrella. Another example is the army होतं, पण the table होतं. तसंच ट डेली होतं. बघा, म्हणजे my point is, in writing you write the morpheme to. या टू चा उच्चार दरवेळी तूच होतो असा नाही. समटाइम्स टीओ is pronounced as t and sometimes it is pronounced as टू. जसं की बघा, ट लंडन होतं पण टू आस्क होतं. दी आर्मी होतं पण द टेबल होतं. द बॉक्स होतं पण दी अम्ब्रेला होतं. In the phrase the box, there are two morphemes, the and box. The is pronounced as the, like this. In box, the box. But in umbrella, THE is pronounced as the. म्हणजे स्पेलिंग एकच आहे पण प्रोनाउन्सिएशन चेंज होतं. कशामुळे चेंज होतं? बिकॉज ऑफ the next morpheme.
Consonants and vowels.
Yes, because of the consonants and the vowel. In box, the morpheme begins with a consonant and therefore you say the box. Umbrella begins with a vowel, therefore the is pronounced as the. So these changes occur in pronunciation because of the next morpheme. The आणि the किंवा t and to हे चेंजेस का होतात, कशामुळे होतात? तर त्याच्यानंतर येणारे जे मॉर्फेम्स आहेत त्याच्यामुळे होतात. जसे की टू आस्क मध्ये दोन मॉर्फेम्स आहेत. कुठले? टू आणि आस्क सेपरेट मॉर्फेम्स आहेत. आस्क begins with a vowel sound a, therefore the preceding morpheme. बघा मी काय म्हणतोय, मी मॉर्फेम पण म्हणतोय, मी फोनॉलॉजी पण मिक्स करतोय. तर मॉर्फोफोनेमिक्स हा बेसिकली टॉपिक फोनॉलॉजीचाही आहे आणि मॉर्फोलॉजीचा आहे. तर मॉर्फोलॉजी मधला तुम्हाला आधी मॉर्फेम काय समजला पाहिजे. मॉर्फेम इज अन इंडिपेंडंट पार्ट, इंडिपेंडंट वर्ड विच कॅन स्टँड ऑन इट्स ओन. टू आस्क ही जर आपण फ्रेज घेतली तर टू आस्क मध्ये दोन मॉर्फेम्स आहेत, टू आणि आस्क. Ask begins with a vowel a, or ask begins with a vowel, therefore to is pronounced as to. पण तोच to दिल्ली मध्ये, लंडन मध्ये ट असा त्याचा उच्चार होतो, प्रोनाउन्सिएशन होतं, बिकॉज इट बिगिन्स विथ अ कॉन्सोनंट साउंड. So this is called as morphophonemic change. That is, the change in the pronunciation of a morpheme occurs. कुठलं मॉर्फेम आहे? TO2 किंवा TO is a morpheme. That TO has different realizations or it is pronounced in different ways because of the next morpheme. टीओ नंतर जे मॉर्फिम येतं त्यामुळं काय होतं, टीओ या मॉर्फिमचा उच्चार आयदर ट होतो किंवा टू होतो. THE या मॉर्फिमचा उच्चार आयदर द होतो किंवा दी होतो. सो इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द नेक्स्ट मॉर्फिम. इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द फर्स्ट साउंड ऑफ द नेक्स्ट मॉर्फिम. So morphophonemic changes are nothing but the changes occur in the pronunciation of a morpheme because of the following morpheme or because of the first sound of the following morpheme. आलं लक्षात? हे द च्या बाबतीत झालं. आधीच्या स्लाइड मध्ये आपण काय बघितलं की हे आपण ऍक्च्युअली बघितलेलं आहे अलोमॉर्फ्स शिकताना की स उच्चार कधी होतो, झ उच्चार कधी होतो, इज उच्चार कधी होतो, एटसेट्रा. सो मॉर्फोफोनेमिक्स हा टॉपिक बेसिकली इट इज रिलेटेड टू ॲलोमॉर्फ्स. त्याच्यानंतर चेंजेस कसे होतात आपण बघितलंय. जसं की इंडेफिनेट आर्टिकल सुद्धा चेंज होतं. इंडेफिनेट आर्टिकल अ आणि ॲन हे सुद्धा कशावरून ठरतं तर आर्टिकल नंतर येणाऱ्या नाउन्स वर अ आणि ॲनचा प्रेझेन्स अवलंबून असतो. सो वी नो वेन टू यूज अ अँड वेन टू यूज ॲन. So the next morpheme, that is the beginning of the noun, decides which indefinite article will you use. Will you say an apple or a apple? A apple, you know, you don't say a apple, you have to say an apple because a सुद्धा indefinite article है, an सुद्धा indefinite article है. But you know that a apple is wrong. You have to say an apple because apple begins with a vowel. So the next morpheme apple makes you to use an indefinite article. Pluralization आपण ज्यावेळी अलोमॉर्फ शिकलो त्यावेळी पाहिलं. तसंच मॉर्फोफोनेमिक चेंज इथं सुद्धा होतो. दी, द, त अँड टू. Have you understood this topic, morphophonemic changes?
Yes, sir.
If you have notebook with you, you can write down 2 or 3 sentences so that you can remember or you can understand what is morphophonemic change or what is morphophonemics. Please start. Morphophonemic change is a change. Morphophonemic change is a change which occurs OCCURS, which occurs in a morpheme, because of the presence of other morpheme. Because of the presence of other morpheme. Full stop. Sometimes due to a morpheme, or due to the first sound of the morpheme, one has to change the pronunciation of the same morpheme. One has to change the pronunciation of the same morpheme. In bracket write preceding morpheme. PRECEDING, preceding morpheme. Full stop. For example, you can write this: the box, the umbrella. म्हणजे स्पेलिंग तेच राहतं, THEच राहतं. बॉक्सच्या आधी सुद्धा तुम्ही THEच लिहिता, अम्ब्रेलाच्या जागी सुद्धा THEच लिहिता, पण देयर इज चेंज इन द प्रोनाउन्सिएशन ऑफ बोथ द दज. दोन्ही जे द आहेत ना, अम्ब्रेलाच्या आधीचा आणि बॉक्सच्या आधीचा, त्याच्यामध्ये फरक आहे. यू डोंट से द अम्ब्रेला, you say the umbrella. That is the correct, that is the RP, received pronunciation. in Indian English we don't follow this. आपण सरसकट सगळ्यालाच द म्हणतो. The box, the umbrella, etc. But the umbrella is the correct pronunciation and the box is the correct pronunciation. The army is right. The table is correct. म्हणजे स्पेलिंग जरी एकच असलं तरी प्रोनाउन्सिएशन्स बदलतात. कशामुळे बदलतात तर पुढच्या असलेल्या मॉर्फिममुळे किंवा पुढच्या मॉर्फिम मध्ये असलेल्या इनिशियल साऊंडमुळे. Right? So this is called as morphophonemic change. Morphophonemic change occurs because of the presence of a morpheme or because of the presence of a certain sound in the morpheme. विशिष्ट साऊंड मुळे एका मॉर्फिम मध्ये असलेल्या विशिष्ट साऊंड मुळे दुसऱ्या मॉर्फिमच्या प्रोनाउन्सिएशन मध्ये बदल होतो, चेंज होतो. त्याला म्हणायचं मॉर्फोफोनेमिक चेंजेस. हॅव यू अंडरस्टूड दिस टॉपिक?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, good. Don't worry, I shall share this PPT with you. Let us go ahead. Elements of grammar. As I said, today I shall start with the 4th unit. तुमच्याकडे syllabus असेलच. Please take a look at the syllabus of this paper. The 4th unit is elements of grammar and there are other topics in it. Now, what are elements of grammar? Elements of grammar are nothing but parts of speech. आणि parts of speech आपण अगदी हायस्कूल पासून शिकलेलो आहोत. But according to modern grammarians like Geoffrey Leach, there are 10 parts of speech. मला वाटतं आतापर्यंत हायस्कूल मध्ये किंवा यापूर्वी आपण 8 parts of speech शिकलेलो आहोत. But modern grammarians divide the parts of speech or divide the parts of speech in 10 parts. कुठले कुठले आहेत ते सांगा.
Can I tell, sir?
Yes, please.
Noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, adverb, interjection, demonstration, article. How many there?
8. You told 8.
8. 8. Again 2.
Conjunction and preposition.
Preposition and conjunction.
Okay, good, very good. So there are 10 parts of speech. Let me
10 parts of speech.
Yes. First is noun, verb, adverb, adjective, pronoun, articles, prepositions, conjunctions, interjections, and demonstratives. So there are 10 parts of speech. But you must have noticed that I have divided these 10 parts of speech into 2 categories: open class items and closed system items. So after the first 4 parts of speech, I have drawn a line. Thus, I have divided the 10 parts of speech into 2 categories. In the first category, that is in open class items, there are 4 parts of speech, and in the closed system items, there are 6 parts of speech. Can you tell me why I have made this division? मी बरोबर 5-5 असं का नाही डिव्हिजन केलं किंवा 2-8 असं का नाही केलं किंवा एनी अदर डिव्हिजन?
Yes, sir, because noun, verb, adverb, and adjective. This can be many words. Okay. Or we can say that many words we use in these parts of speech. Whereas if we think about the 5 to 10, pronoun to demonstratives, here particular words only we have to use for the sentences or limited words we can use.
Yes, very good.
That may be.
Yes. Yeah, you are right, Rizana. So there are 10 parts of speech, but out of these 10 parts of speech, the first 4 parts of speech are more important than the remaining 6 parts of speech. Correct? Noun, verbs, adverbs, and adjectives help in providing particular meaning to the sentence. Now consider a sentence. I am going to Pune. Right? Wait. I am, or Ramesh is going to, I am going to Pune. Suppose I remove this to from the sentence, and if I just say I am going Pune, the sentence will be grammatically incorrect, but still you will get some meaning from the sentence. You will understand what I want to say. But suppose I remove Pune from the sentence, and if I just say I am going to, the meaning is not understood. So in a sentence, noun, verb, adverb, and adjectives are the most important categories. They are the meaning providing words. Without them, the meaning is not possible. आलं लक्षात? या वाक्यामध्ये किंवा अशा प्रकारच्या वाक्यामध्ये जर मी नाऊनच लिहिलं नाही किंवा वर्बच लिहिलं नाही तर वाक्याचा अर्थ समजणारच नाही. पण मी एखाद्या वेळी प्रोनाउन गाळू शकतो, आर्टिकल ओमिट करू शकतो. आय कॅन ओमिट अ प्रेपोजिशन, कंजंक्शन, etc. The sentence might be grammatically odd, might be grammatically wrong, but still meaning is possible. You can get some kind of meaning through the sentence by omitting pronouns, articles, etc. Understood? Therefore, out of these 10 parts of speech, the most important parts of speech are noun, verb, adverb, adjective. Whereas the next 6 parts of speech are, they are important, but they are not as important as the first 4 parts of speech. Therefore, they are called as closed system items, whereas the first are called as open system items. हा एक पहिला महत्वाचा डिफरन्स झाला. दुसरा रिजवानाने बरोबर सांगितलं की you can add many nouns. Suppose I give you a task to find out all the nouns in English. Can you make a list? Suppose I give you 8 days or 10 days and I tell you to write down all the nouns in English. Is it possible? Hello. Can you make a list of all the nouns in English? Can you make a list of all the verbs in English? Yes, no. बोला काहीतरी. No, you cannot. You cannot make a list of all the nouns in English because they are infinite. There are many. But on the contrary, if I ask you to make a list of all the prepositions in English, can you do that? Yes, you can. You can write words like to, at, into, above, on, etc. And you can finish the list. You can complete the list. So noun, verbs, adverbs, and adjectives are infinite. A complete list of these parts of speech can never be made. Therefore, they are called as open class items. हे डिफरन्सेस तुम्ही जॉट डाऊन करा बरं का, लिहा. मी तुम्हाला नंतर त्याच्या नोट्स देईन, बट तुम्ही हे लिहून ठेवा की 10 parts of speech, first 4 parts of speech, that is noun, verb, adverb, adjectives, are more important than the remaining 6 parts of speech. First difference. Second is open class items. A complete list of open class items is not possible, whereas you can make a list of closed system items. You can make a complete list of closed system items. Correct. त्याच्यानंतर another difference is new additions are possible in open class items. That is, new nouns can be formed. You can add new nouns. आणि आपण बघितलं की वर्ड फॉर्मेशन प्रोसेसेस मध्ये you can create new nouns. Similarly, new verbs could be also formed. But is it possible to form a new article? तुम्ही एखादं नवीन आर्टिकल शोधून काढू शकाल का? नाही. नवीन प्रोनाउन शोधून काढू शकाल का? नाही. आहे तेच आहेत. म्हणजे आय, यू, वी, दे, एटसेट्रा. ही जे प्रोनाउन्स आहेत ती वर्षानुवर्ष तशीच आहेत. तुम्ही किती जरी म्हणाला की नो, आय शॅल इन्व्हेंट अ न्यू प्रोनाउन, आय शॅल इन्व्हेंट a new article, it is not possible. So pronouns, articles, prepositions, etc. New pronouns, articles cannot be invented, cannot be formed. Therefore they are called as closed system items. शब्द पण बघा काय आहे तो शब्द, closed system. This is a system. या 6 शब्दांची एक विशिष्ट सिस्टीम आहे. व्हेरॅज या 4 पार्ट्सना काय म्हटलेलं आहे, इट इज ओपन क्लास आयटम्स म्हटलेलं आहे. सो ओपन सिस्टीम आयटम नाहीये, तर ते ओपन क्लास आयटम्स आहेत. दॅट इज they form a category which is independent, separate from others, etc. So complete list of nouns, verbs is not possible. New addition is possible, पण क्लोज सिस्टीम आयटम्स मध्ये अशी काही असं काही नवीन ऍडिशन तुम्ही करू शकत नाही. तसंच द नेक्स्ट अँड most important difference between open class item and closed system items is you can write noun after a noun. You can write verb after a verb. For example, I have been working. Have been working. असे 3 नाउन्स मी एका वाक्यामध्ये लिहू शकतो की नाही? पॉसिबल आहे की नाही? Yes. I am studying. Yes, I am studying. Am and studying both are verbs. So you can write 2 verbs side by side. You can write 2 nouns side by side. For example, Shivanjali, Rizwana, Sanjay are attending the lecture. So I have written 3 nouns side by side. But can I write 3 articles, a and the, असे मी साइड बाय साइड लिहू शकतो का? a and the umbrella असं नाही लिहू शकत मी. That is when I write when I choose one article, other articles are automatically omitted or other articles are automatically removed. बरोबर ना? I can say an umbrella or the umbrella, पण मी दोन्ही ऍट अ टाइम नाही यूज करू शकत. an आणि the ऍट अ टाइम नाही यूज करू शकत. तसंच मी एक प्रेपोजिशन चूज केलं at, I cannot write to immediately after it. At आणि to हे दोन प्रेपोजिशन, मी 2 verbs साइड बाय साइड लिहू शकेन, but I cannot write 2 prepositions, 2 conjunctions, 2 articles side by side. So when one occurs, the other cannot occur. In closed system items, ज्यावेळी तुम्ही एक चूज करता, तुम्ही दुसरं ऑटोमॅटिकली रिमूव्ह करता. दॅट इज दुसरं त्याच प्रकारचं प्रोनाउन प्रेपोजिशन तुम्ही यूज करू शकत नाही. सो this is called as in open class items. You can add or you can write these items or these words next to one another. In closed system items, the presence of one extinguishes the presence of the other. एकामुळे दुसरा उपस्थित राहू शकत नाही. त्याला म्हणायचं this happens with closed system items. Understood? हा डिफरन्स लक्षात आला का? तर लक्षात ठेवा, एलिमेंट्स ऑफ ग्रामर, यू आर स्टडिंग एलिमेंट्स ऑफ ग्रामर फॉर द लास्ट टाइम इन युअर लाईफ. कारण MA नंतर परत कुठे एलिमेंट्स ऑफ ग्रामर तुम्ही शिकणार नाहीये. म्हणून हे लक्षात ठेवा की देर आर 10 पार्ट्स ऑफ स्पीच. आउट ऑफ दिस 10 पार्ट्स ऑफ स्पीच 4 आर मोर इम्पॉर्टंट. द फर्स्ट 4 ही अशीच लिस्ट लक्षात ठेवा. म्हणजे नाउन प्रोनाउन असं नका लिहू, असं लक्षात ठेवू नका. नाउन, व्हर्ब, ऍडव्हर्ब, ऍडजेक्टिव्ह आणि मग प्रोनाउन, आर्टिकल, प्रेपोजिशन, कंजंक्शन, इंटरजेक्शन, डेमॉन्स्ट्रेटिव्ह. ओके, आता आपण हे सगळे पार्ट्स ऑफ स्पीच बघणार आहोत. बट वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू define any parts of speech because definition of any parts of speech is problematic. For example, if I want to describe or if I want to define a verb, I cannot, the definition cannot include all the verbs in English. Generally verb ची definition काय असते सांगा? आपण शाळेत काय शिकलेलो आहोत? What is a verb?
Verb is a word to which shows action.
Very good. Verb is an action word. अशा प्रकारे आपल्याला शाळेत शिकवलेलं आहे. सो डेफिनेशन काय सांगितलेली असते व्हर्बची? एनी वर्ड विच डिनोट्स अन ऍक्शन इज अ वर्ब. आणि मग एक्झाम्पल काय दिलं जातं? रन, जम्प एटसेट्रा. करेक्ट. आता रन शोज फिजिकल मूवमेंट, रन शोज सम ऍक्शन. Jump also shows some physical action, and therefore the example is suitable. But there are certain verbs in English which do not show any action, but still they are verbs. For example, can हे वर्ब आहे की नाही? आहे. पण can काही ऍक्शन दाखवत आहे का? नो. Have also doesn't show any action. Physical movement दाखवत नाही. तसंच think is also a verb, but think does not show any action. आता तुम्ही म्हणाल think मेंटल ऍक्शन दाखवू शकतंय किंवा मेंटल ऍक्शन आहे. या पण मेंटल ऍक्शन जरी असली तरी फिजिकल मूवमेंट ते दाखवत नाही. Correct. So we are not going to define any parts of speech because that will be difficult, that will be problematic, because no definition is exclusive. If you say a verb is an action word, then you have to omit certain words, or you cannot explain verbs like have, can, may, that is auxiliary verbs. हे तुम्ही एक्सप्लेन करू शकणार नाही. म्हणून आपण फक्त त्याचे एक्झाम्पल्स बघणार आहोत. आपण काय बघणार आहोत? डेफिनेशन्स त्याच्या शिकणार नाहीये. अंडरस्टूड? समजतंय ना हा टॉपिक? सोपा आहे?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
ओके. अजून एक 5-10 मिनिटं आणि मग आपण थांबू. ओके. पहिलं बघा, नाउन. कॉन्क्रीट नाउन. व्हॉट इज अ कॉन्क्रीट नाउन?
Which is we can show it.
Yes, a concrete noun is a noun which you can touch, you can feel. बरोबर. Then there is abstract noun. Abstract noun काय असतं सांगा? एक्झाम्पल दिलंय मी. Honesty.
We can feel, but we cannot see or touch.
Yes. You can explain it. Or you can understand it through mental process, but you cannot physically show it. You cannot touch it. For example, honesty. Honesty कुठे दाखव बरं असं मला? Honesty अशी दाखवू शकत नाही. You can explain me the concept of honesty, but you don't need to explain me the concept of apple. You can actually show me an apple and you can say that this is apple. तसंच honesty हातात घेऊन नाही ना दाखवत आहे. So no, abstract nouns like honesty, beauty, truth. Truth तुम्ही एक्सप्लेन करू शकाल, पण ट्रूथ दाखवू शकणार नाही. So there are abstract nouns. Then there are countable nouns and uncountable nouns. What are countable and uncountable nouns?
Which we can count the things.
Correct.
That things names are known as countable nouns, and which we cannot. That
Like?
names comes under the uncountable nouns.
Like?
Countable, for example, table,
Yes.
doors,
Very good.
chairs, and uncountable like grains, milk,
Yes.
or etc.
Yeah, very good. Countable nouns you can count in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 table, 2 tables, etc. Uncountable nouns are nouns which you cannot count in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4. Like milk, sugar, etc. You cannot count milk like 1 drop of milk, 2 drops of milk, etc. There is a different measurement for counting milk. Similarly, you cannot count sugar in terms of 1 grain of sugar, 2 grains of sugar, etc. You can count sugar in kilograms. So there is a different measurement for counting sugar. So countable nouns are the nouns which you can count in numbers like 1, 2, 3. Countable nouns always have a plural form. So table, tables होतं. पण sugar, sugars होत नाही. Sugar, sugarच राहतं. Uncountable nouns चा plural form नसतो. राईट. मिल्क, मिल्क्स नाही होत. मिल्क, मिल्कच राहतं. तर तो एक डिफरन्स लक्षात ठेवा. देन कलेक्टिव्ह नाउन्स, फॉर एक्झाम्पल ऑडियन्स, पीपल. Compound noun, textbook. Compound nouns are nouns which are made with the help of 2 separate nouns. Textbook. Then you have proper noun like John, names of people, names of rivers, names of oceans, etc. They are proper nouns. And then there are common nouns like man, tree, etc. तर हे नाउन्सचे प्रकार आपल्याला माहिती आहेत. यात काही नवीन नाहीये. आता verbs आज आपण बघू आणि then we will stop. Verbs, again as I said, mm, verbs. We are not going to define verbs, but we will see different types of verbs, different parts of verbs. Now, आता verbचं मला जर कॅटेगरायझेशन करायचं असेल तर आय कॅन डू इट इन डिफरंट वेज. जसं की सपोज मला वर्गातल्या मुलांचं कॅटेगरायझेशन करायचंय. आय कॅन यूज डिफरंट फॉर्म्युला. फॉर एक्झाम्पल बॉय गर्ल असा फॉर्म्युला वापरून मी वर्गात किती मुलं आहेत हे सांगेन. सो देर आर 5 boys and 10 girls असं मी म्हणू शकेन. Or I can use a different formula like students wearing spectacles. चष्मा असणारे विद्यार्थी, चष्मा नसणारे विद्यार्थी. करेक्ट. तर मी वेगवेगळ्या क्रायटेरिया वापरून I can I can make I can talk about the number of students in my class. Similarly, if I want to talk about the verbs in English, I can use different formulas. तर वेगवेगळे सिस्टीम वापरून मी इंग्लिश मधले verbs क्लासिफाय करू शकेन. सो वी आर गोइंग टू स्टडी द क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ verbs in English. जसं की मी वर्गातल्या मुलांचं क्लासिफिकेशन वेगवेगळ्या मेथड्सनी करू शकेन. उंच विद्यार्थी, शॉर्ट स्टूडेंट, टॉल स्टूडेंट, शॉर्ट स्टूडेंट्स, बॉईज, गर्ल्स, students wearing spectacles, students who are not wearing spectacles, तसंच students living in Baramati, students outside of Baramati, etc. Similarly, I can classify the verbs in English by using different formulas. त्यातला पहिला बघा, रेग्युलर आणि इरेग्युलर verbs. रेग्युलर वर्ब आणि इरेग्युलर verbs काय असतात सांगा. हा पहिला फॉर्मॅट आहे बरं का. रेग्युलर वर्ब हे काय आहे, त्यातलं पहिलं क्लासिफिकेशन आहे. फर्स्ट क्लासिफिकेशन, रेग्युलर वर्ब्स अँड इरेग्युलर वर्ब्स. सांगा रेग्युलर वर्ब्स काय असतात, इरेग्युलर वर्ब्स काय असतात. कम ऑन. जंप इज अ रेग्युलर वर्ब and sing is an irregular verb. Why? हॅलो, तुम्ही आहात का?
येस सर.
हा, चला 5 मिनिटात संपू आपण.
Yes, sir.
रेग्युलर वर्ब मीन्स क्रियापदाला ईडी लागत राहतो.
Very good. You just
Jump,
attach
jump.
ed to
And-
the main verb and you get the past form of the main verb. Such verbs are regular verbs. Whereas
and regular
irregular verbs have
ईडी लागत ना त्याला. त्याचे तिन्ही रूप वेगवेगळे असतात.
Yes, irregular verbs have altogether different past form. So the past form of sing is not singed, but it is sang. Sing, sang, sung. Very good. Next, stative verbs and dynamic verbs. असं सुद्धा मी verbचं क्लासिफिकेशन करू शकतो. So this is the second or this is the next classification of verbs, stative verbs. For example, like, smell, know, love, etc. These are stative verbs. Whereas dynamic verbs are action words like run, jump, etc. आता सांगा stative verbs काय असतात आणि dynamic verbs काय असतात. हॅलो, बोला कोणीतरी. मी काय लिहितोय त्याच्याकडे लक्ष देऊ नका. तुम्ही मला स्टेटिव्ह आणि डायनामिक वर्ब सांगा. रिजवाना.
Sir, stative words we cannot add ing to it.
Very good, excellent.
I mean, we cannot say liking, smelling,
Very
knowing.
good. Yes,
And
very good.
dynamic
Rizwan.
words.
Dynamic words take ing
words,
form.
ing form with it.
Excellent. So every verb in English has 5 forms. For example, go. You can make past tense of go. You can make past participle of go. Then every verb takes s or es participle, and every verb in English takes ing participle. For example, when you want to use the verb in continuous form, you have to add ing to the main verb. But there are certain verbs in English which never take ing form. Such verbs are called as stative verbs. For example, like, smell, know, love, etc. So I'm liking chocolates is a wrong sentence in English because like shows something which is permanent. म्हणजे असं काही नाही की काल मला आवडत नव्हते चॉकलेट्स आणि आज आवडायला लागलेत आणि उद्या आवडणार नाही. नो, लाईक इज which will remain permanent. किंवा स्मेल, आय एम स्मेलिंग, नो. Knowing, mental processes also do not take ing form. I'm knowing English नाही होत. I know English or I like mathematics. तसंच लव्ह सुद्धा हे काय असतं, लव्ह सुद्धा हे वर्ब असं आहे की त्याला ing फॉर्म लागत नाही. सो इफ समवन सेज टू यू आय एम लव्हिंग यू, तर लक्षात ठेवा लव्हिंगला हे स्टेटिव्ह वर्ब्स काय दाखवतात, समथिंग विच इज परमनंट, विच विल नेव्हर चेंज. सो इन आय एम लव्हिंग यू, loving is the sentence is wrong because you have added ing to love. Love doesn't take ing form, whereas dynamic verbs take ing forms: running, going, playing, etc.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
There is a tagline for McDonald's that
I
I'm loving it.
loving
So,
it. It is purposefully made just to attract the attention of the customers, and it is lovin, lovin. They have even omitted the last g. So I'm loving it. They take the liberty in such thing. Take liberty for advertising their products, but grammatically speaking it is wrong. I'm loving it is wrong. I love it. Okay, so yes, that is there. Then main verb and auxiliary verbs. This is the third way of the classification of verbs. Main verbs काय असतात, write, love, run, jump, sing, etc. Auxiliary verbs are can, may, might, shall, should, etc. These are auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. Auxiliary verbs or helping verbs are not very important, or they are less important than main verbs. Auxiliary verbs show possibility, ability, and their task is to assist the main verb. For example, I can drive a car. In this sentence, can drive is a verb phrase, but the head word is, or the important word is drive, not can. बरोबर ना? I can drive a car. In this sentence, can shows ability. The auxiliary verbs have different functions to perform. So auxiliary verbs and main verb असं सुद्धा एक क्लासिफिकेशन असतं. आणि लास्ट इज ट्रान्झिटिव्ह आणि इंट्रान्झिटिव्ह. सर, तर हे लास्ट प्रकारचं क्लासिफिकेशन आहे, ट्रान्झिटिव्ह वर्ब्स अँड इंट्रान्झिटिव्ह वर्ब. सो दिस इज द हा काय आहे, चौथं क्लासिफिकेशन. I can classify the verbs in English using this formula also: transitive verb and intransitive verb. Play is a transitive verb and run is an intransitive verb. का बरं? काय असतात ट्रान्झिटिव्ह वर्ब आणि इंट्रान्झिटिव्ह वर्ब्स? Who would tell? For example, I play cricket and he runs fast. I play cricket चं मला पॅसिव्ह व्हॉइस करून दाखवा. I play cricket.
cricket is played by me.
Cricket is played by me. Very good. आता he runs fast याचं मला पॅसिव्ह करून दाखवा. नाही होत, बरोबर ना? डोंट ट्राय, होतच नाही. तर सर्टन verbs in English could be turned into passive sentences, whereas certain verbs cannot be used in passive forms. Such verbs are called as intransitive verbs. काही वर्बचं पॅसिव्ह होतं, काही वर्बचं पॅसिव्ह स्ट्रक्चरच होत नाही, म्हणून त्यांना काय म्हणायचं, इंट्रान्झिटिव्ह वर्ब्स म्हणायचं. आलं लक्षात? तर या वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारे मी वर्बचं क्लासिफिकेशन करू शकतो. हे काय आहे स्क्रीनवर जे तुम्हाला दिसते ते आहे क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ वर्ब्स. देर आर 4 पॉसिबल वेज ऑफ क्लासिफाईंग वर्ब्स इन इंग्लिश. पहिला आहे रेग्युलर, इरेग्युलर, मग आहे स्टेटिव्ह, डायनॅमिक, मेन वर्ब, ऑक्झिलरी वर्ब, ट्रान्झिटिव्ह वर्ब, इंट्रान्झिटिव्ह वर्ब. तर हे सगळं तुम्ही वहीमध्ये लिहून काढा, त्याचं मिनिंग लिहून काढा किंवा एक्सप्लेन तुम्हीच करा की व्हॉट आर रेग्युलर वर्ब्स, व्हॉट आर इरेग्युलर वर्ब्स एटसेट्रा. समजला आजचा टॉपिक?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
येस सर.
Should we stop today?
Okay, sir.
Okay. तर हे मी तुम्हाला याची पीपीटी शेअर करतो. तुम्ही ती पीपीटी बघून तुमच्या नोटबुक मध्ये हे आजचे जे टॉपिक्स आहेत ना, काय आहे, एक छोटासा पार्ट राहिला होता कशाचा, तर आपला वर्ड फॉर्मेशन प्रोसेसेस ते लिहा. त्याच्यानंतर मॉर्फोफोनेमिक चेंजेस एक लिहा आणि एलिमेंट्स ऑफ ग्रामर. एलिमेंट्स ऑफ ग्रामर मध्ये आज आपण काय शिकलो, तर पार्ट्स ऑफ स्पीच, त्याच्यामध्ये ओपन क्लास आयटम, क्लोज सिस्टम आयटम्स, देन टाइप्स ऑफ वर्ब्स अँड टाइप्स ऑफ नाउन्स आणि क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ वर्ब्स, हे टॉपिक्स आपण आज बघितलेले. तर टुडे वी स्टॉप. मी थोडा फास्ट चाललोय बिकॉज आय वॉन्ट टू फिनिश द सिलेबस ॲज अर्ली एज पॉसिबल. आता फास्ट म्हणजे खूप